We're now going to hear our final speaker of the conference, all the way from the island of San Mateo, California. Leafa Tuita Taumoepeau is currently the executive director of a nonprofit organization, Taulama for Tongans. Her work in the Pacific Islander community is over 27 years. Oh, not to date her age, but that means she started when she was like 5. And has served in the San Mateo County as a cultural broker. She sits as one of the core founders of the Tri-County Pacific Islander Regional Task Force that oversees services for Pacific Islanders in the Bay Area. She is part of the Tongan Interfaith Group, which includes different community churches and faith leaders that really do help to address the needs of the community and is collaborative. And it's really Leafa's guidance and leverage that really helps the work to move forward. And she is my personal mentor, and I'm so grateful that she's here. And I will now turn the time over to you, Leafa Tuita Taumoepeau, who looks like she's in space. So I will turn the time over to you, Leafa.
Thank you, Melissa. And is it good morning or good afternoon? Or let me honor the request that Melissa had given me by giving the last speech for this conference. Tapu moe o tua mafi mafi, o kune ao niu I he mo ui, pia kou kore ke hufanga he tala whakatapu ko toa pia kua wawha, I ha whakatahataha hono kakai, o hange ko ia ko tau mātā I he aho koe ne tolu o toki. Talangata ia te au o whai ki tua mamau, kai a tau ke whakamunuhu koloa. Violence has no place in anybody's life, in any family, in any school, college or university, in any group, in any community, in any church, in any village or city, in any country. However, history has shown us that violence is a part of our lives, and we need to work collectively in our efforts to understand, to know ourselves and the part that we play in a pandemic that has been in our lives, our history, and we carry it with us wherever we are. We owe it to ourselves, our children and grandchildren, our future, to break away from such a stronghold that has wreaked havoc in our lives for as long as we can remember. Michelle and Melissa have been kind enough to include me in this historical gathering. I am indeed honored to be given this task, to stand before you and say thank you to a job well done. Thank you all for 3 days of acknowledging, sharing, learning, identifying our strengths and weaknesses as a people, as one body, and what we can collectively do to walk together from darkness into light, to accept and to heal. The theme of this conference, violence prevention, brings to mind a Tongan proverb, "Tai lango ke mamau." The literal translation to this in English is swat the fly before it gets to you. In other words, kill the fly before it gets to you. My people believe that the fly is a carrier of germs. Usually it would be attracted to food, and sometimes it will be attracted to you. So one's normal reaction is to swat the fly and make sure it's dead. This is prevention, exercise to stop the fly from spreading the germs. This very simple saying reminds me that prevention is acting before it happens to avoid what will happen if it is allowed to happen. Love heals. The foundation of our lives as a people is love. Love conquers all. Let us take that to heart. Let us hold on to our truth as a people, the truth that were fed to us by grandparents, parents, aunties, and uncles. People who weaned us gave us those truths to sustain us physically and spiritually. This is how we will preserve, honor those that were behind us and those that are in front of us. Just like weaving or planting or fishing, we function much more effectively when we are the collective with the capability of navigating our onward journey full of hope. I am humbled and full of gratitude to our Heavenly Father for the guidance and blessings bestowed upon this gathering. My heart is so full of joy and gratitude to see support and participation from experts in the field of violence prevention, to leadership from the Pacific Islander communities, faith leaders, young people, students who are our pride and joy, our future, participants from all walks of life, and everyone else who was part of this momentous undertaking. On behalf of Peninsula Conflict Resolution Center, Michelle Vilches and Melissa Nathaniel Jones and their staff, Susie and Simi Malohivo'o and the team from Utah, and to all of you who have so kindly contributed to the collective, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Malo aupito ofat.
Thank you so much, Leafa. We have just about 5 minutes left, Leafa, and there is a request that has come in my private chat that you, and because I don't want to mess this up and be banished from the Kingdom of Tonga for the rest of my life, I have been asked if you could please relay your relation and your standing in the Tongan community. And I know this because, yes, I'm just going to stop there. So Leafa, people are asking if you could please just share your lineage with those who are on the call today who may not know.
I think that is the most difficult thing anyone have ever asked me or put me on the spot for, Melissa. And because I am a firm believer of honoring a protocol, I can just tell you a little bit of my story, and I apologize that if that's not enough. I was my birth mother passed away after I was a year old. And so I was then adopted by my paternal grandparents. And so I grew up not really knowing they were not my parents till one day I got into an argument with one of my cousins. And I said, I'm going to tell my mother that you did that. And I was told, that is not your mother. And that's the first time I knew that they were not my birth parents. But the grandfather that I'm referring to is the Honorable Tuita, who is a titled noble, and he has people, and he has estates, just as the majority of Tongans know. And so, in a way, I am familiar with that part of culture, but I am not really within that part of culture. I have every respect in my whole being for that level of in the Tongan society, because that's where I grew up, and I honor those that are part of that family. That's why I choose to just end my story with who I am. And I apologize that I can't say more than that.
We will take that, Leafa. Thank you so much for your humility. And again, an honor to work beside you in the work, Leafa. Thank you so much. And as we conclude our conference today, I do want to definitely acknowledge our sponsors, the Utah Department of Human Services, the University of Utah Pacific Island Studies, and Verizon. The conveners of the conference, of course, PICTAR, as well as the Peninsula Conflict Resolution Center. We are so grateful to Ocean for allowing us again, to acknowledge the first peoples of both this land who have continued to allow us to do this work. I want to just say thank you to you all. We are definitely going to host the next Pacific Islander Violence Prevention Conference in 2021. And we are still debating if it's going to be virtual or if it's going to be in person. But regardless of that, we hope that you all will continue to follow us. Please follow us on Facebook. The Pacific Islander Violence Prevention Conference does have a page. Follow PICTAR, come and follow PCRC where you can get updates on this information. Again, I want to thank all of our presenters, speakers, performers of the last 3 days. Big shout out to our team that coordinated all of this. I actually didn't do much but show up. So thank you so much, Susie and Simi and team for preparing all of this. We wish you nothing but the best wherever you are in the world. We know that times are very challenging right now, but we are appreciative of all of you and your time that you've spent to contribute to this much needed and continuing conversation around violence prevention. I love you all, and I'm so glad that I got to meet some of you.